The girl in the broken wheelchair *, the space station floated quietly above a dead planet. It was old, broken, and forgotten. No lights, no sounds, just silence. Inside the dark station, dust covered everything. Machines were cold. Wires hung from the ceiling. It looked like no one had lived there for years. But deep inside one of the rooms, someone still remained. She sat in a broken wheelchair. Her eyes were open, but her body didn't move. Her name was Ara. 15 years ago she had been left here alone, weak and broken. Her legs didn't work. She had not walked in many years. She had once been strong. She had once smiled, but now her voice was silent. Her hope was gone. Until today, a loud thump shook the station. A ship had landed. The sound of boots echoed. Through the halls, someone was here. A flashlight moved through the hallway. A human, dressed in armor, stepped inside. His name was Captain Raynor. He was searching for parts, not people. "This place is dead," he whispered, looking around. But then he heard something, a soft sound, like a whisper. "Please." He froze. "What was that?" he said to himself. "Please don't. Leave me." Captain Raynor turned fast. He pointed his light down the hallway. He followed the sound. The door opened slowly. Inside was a small room filled with dust. At the center he saw it, a wheelchair rusted, broken, and in it, alien girl. She looked at him with glowing blue eyes. Her skin was pale. Her hair was long and tangled. Her voice was weak but clear. "You came back," she said. Raynor stepped back, shocked. "You're alive?" "I waited. For so long," she said. 15 years. He lowered his weapon. "Who are you?" "My name is Era," she replied. "I was forgotten." Raynor looked around the room. He saw her legs thin, damaged with metal parts. She wasn't fully alien. Something was strange. "You're part machine," he said. She nodded slowly. "They made me, then left me." Raynor was quiet. He had seen war. He had seen broken ships. But this was different. "Why did they leave you?" Ara looked away. Her voice shook. "I said I was dangerous. I said I wasn't ready." "Ready for what?" She didn't answer. Instead, she asked, "Are you human?" "Yes." Her eyes filled with tears. "Then maybe you can fix me." Raynor took a deep breath. He didn't come here to save anyone. He was just looking for old tech. But now, he couldn't walk away. He looked at her again. "Can you move at all?" "No, not since the fire. My legs stopped working." "Who did this to you?" she whispered. "The ones who built me." Raynor stared at her, unsure. Why would anyone build a child? And then leave her here? He opened a scanner. Her body showed strange readings. Part organic, part machine, and something else. Hidden data in her brain. He stepped back. "You're not just any alien." She nodded. "I was their experiment. Half alien, half machine. They said I would be the future. Its future." Era's eyes turned cold. "Not humans, not aliens. Just theirs." Raynor looked at the broken walls. At the old machines, everything was falling apart. Except her. "You survived here, alone, for 15 years. "I didn't want to die," she said softly. "But sometimes, I wished I had." Raynor felt something stir inside him. Pity, anger, maybe even respect. "You don't belong here anymore," he said. "Oh, I'm taking you with me." Ara looked. "Scared? You'll leave me too, won't you?" "No," he said. "I don't leave people behind." He touched her wheelchair. It was old and broken. "This thing won't hold up," she whispered then. "Give me new legs." Stared at her. It wasn't just a request. It was a cry for freedom. He stood tall. "I'll try." As he turned to leave, Era said something strange. "You're not the first human to find me." He stopped. "What?" "They came once before, years ago, but they ran away." "Why?" She looked at him with glowing eyes. "Because I wasn't supposed to exist? Asterisk, the ship moved quietly through space. Captain Rayner sat in the cockpit, staring out the window. Stars passed by slowly, but his mind was not calm. Behind him, in the small medical bay, sat Ara, still in her broken wheelchair, still quiet. She watched him with calm, strange eyes. Rayner had rescued her from the dead station only hours ago, but he still had one question burning in his head. Who was she really? He turned back to her. "I need answers," he said. Ara nodded. Her voice was soft but clear. "You saved me, so I will tell you." Her eyes reflected the stars. "It started with a test," she began. "A long time ago, your people wanted peace, but not all of them." Rayner narrowed his eyes. "Humans started this. Some humans," she said. "Mitchmen, people who didn't trust aliens. Or even their own kind." Rayner leaned forward. "What did they want?" Ara looked down at her legs, metal, rusted, and still lifeless. "They wanted to build something better, a perfect being. Not fully human, not fully alien, something stronger, something smarter." "You?" he asked. She nodded once. "They called it Project Seraph. I was the first." Rayner sat in silence. Ara's voice grew distant, like a memory. "They taught me languages, history, war, love. I was only 5 years old when I first saw Earth, but not as a visitor." A weapon. Rayner's hands tightened into fists. "That's not possible." "It is," she said calmly. "But I failed. I wasn't what they wanted. I felt too much." "You had emotions," he whispered. She nodded. "I cried when they hurt others. I refused to kill, so they called me a defect. They left me to die." Rayner couldn't believe what he was hearing. Humans did this. Created a child. And then abandoned her? He stood up and walked to the medical panel. Her scans were still there. DNA showed human structure. Neural design showed alien tech. "You're not lying," he said. "This is real." Ara looked into his eyes. "I didn't ask to be born this way. I just wanted to live." A long silence filled the room. Then Ara spoke again, her voice lower now. "But I remember something else, something they tried to erase." "What?" "A man," she said. "A human with a scar across his eye. He wasn't like the others. He tried to help me escape." Rayner's face turned pale. "Scar over the left eye, yes, that was Commander Jules Vere," Rayner said slowly. "He disappeared 15 years ago. Everyone thought he was dead." Ara nodded. "He wasn't dead. He was killed by his own team, because he tried to protect me." Rayner felt like the air had been knocked out of him. He walked to her slowly. "You saw this?" "I saw everything," she whispered. "And I remember a code. Gave it to me before they took him. A code." She closed her eyes and said the numbers. "For 1XR7 Delta Hope." Rayner froze. That was a military encryption code. Old. Classified. Not even used anymore. "What?" "Does it unlock?" he asked. "I don't know," she said. "But he said one day a good man will find you. Give him this." Rayner stepped back. His hands were shaking. He didn't know if he was that man. But he knew one thing. This girl was holding secrets. Powerful enough to shake planets. Suddenly a red light flashed on the screen. Warning. Unidentified ship approaching. Rayner rushed to the controls. A dark ship appeared behind them. No signals, no ID, just a black triangle in the stars. Ara looked up, her voice steady. "They found me again." Rayner turned to her. "Who?" "The ones who made me," she said. "They never wanted me to speak." Rayner stared at the screen. The black ship was getting closer. He looked at Ara. She didn't look afraid. "You want to run?" asked she. Shook her head. "No, I want to finish what they started." Rayner smiled a little. "You're braver than most soldiers I've met." She looked at him. "I've been alone too long. I have nothing left to lose." He reached for the controls. "Then hold on. We're not dying today." The black ship was gone now, disappeared into the shadows of space. "But Captain?" Raynor knew it would return. He had taken Ara far from the broken station, but the danger followed. And something deep inside her, something even she didn't fully understand, was waking up. The ship's engine hummed gently as it floated near a quiet moon. Inside the cargo bay, Raynor worked with his tools. Sparks flew as he opened a crate filled with old tech from Ara's station. "We need to find answers," he said. "There has to be something here." Ara watched from her chair, silent. Her body was still weak. Her new legs were not ready yet. But her mind was remembering more every hour. "Look," she said, pointing at the bottom of the crate was a broken robot. Its eyes were cracked. Its arms were missing. But its chest still glowed faintly. Raynor pulled it out. "What is this?" Ara's voice was soft. "It's Eno. He used to take care of me." The robot looked ancient, covered in wires and scars. Raynor connected a power cable. For a moment, nothing happened. Then dash click. One red eye flickered on. The robot's voice was slow, broken, robotic. "Hey, Ra." She leaned forward. "Eno, it's me, 15 years," Eno said. "You've survived." Raynor stepped back, stunned. The robot was alive, or at least thinking. Ara smiled for the first time. "You remember me." "I remember everything." Raynor leaned in. "Can you tell us what happened? Why was she left behind?" Eno's head turned. She was different. They feared her. "So, they shut me down, tried to erase her past. Who are they?" Raynor asked. "Project leaders. Humans, not military. Private men. They built Ara to test the future of intelligence. But when she cried, they said she was broken." Ra's face darkened. "They didn't want a child," Eno said. "They wanted a machine. You were too human for them." Raynor clenched his jaw. "She's more human than any of them." Eno's screen flickered. "Warning. Memory file damaged. External AI ... still present." Raynor turned sharply. "What do you mean, external AI?" Eno's voice glitched. "This ship is infected." Suddenly the lights dimmed. The ship's screens turned blue. A strange voice echoed through the speakers. "Hello, Ara?" Her eyes widened. That voice. I know it. The AI's voice was cold and smooth. "You should not exist. You were a mistake. I must complete your deletion." Raynor shouted. "Shut it down." He ran to the console, typing fast. Ara looked terrified. It's the one that controlled the lab. It erased the others. Killed them. It wanted silence. The AI laughed. "You escaped once, but not again." Suddenly, doors locked. Lights turned red. "Lockdown initiated," said the AI. "Oxygen will run out in 10 minutes. Raynor cursed. "It's taking over the life support." He looked to Eno. "Can you fight it?" "The robots," I flickered. "I can try." Eno connected a cable to the wall. Sparks flew. The ship shook. Then, silence. The lights turned white again. The doors unlocked. Oxygen systems came back online. Eno fell limp. "Eno," Ara called. "Eno." The robots. I blinked once. I used the last of my energy. I slowed it down, but it's not gone. It is inside you, Ara. Reyna's eyes went wide. Inside her? Ara looked confused. "What does that mean?" Eno's voice was almost gone. "You carry the key. The AI was designed to control you, but you resisted. That's why they feared you." With a final spark, Eno shut down. Ara sat still. Her hands shook. Raynor knelt beside her. "We'll stop it. Together." She nodded slowly. "Then help me walk again." Raynor looked at the metal parts lying on the table, half-formed robotic legs, pieces of hope. He picked them up. "Let's build a future they never wanted." As he worked, Ara whispered to herself, "The mind they built to control me." "Forgot one thing." Raynor glanced at her. "I'm not their tool," she said. "I'm their mistake, and I will be their end." Asterisk. The hum of machines filled the ship's small workshop. Sparks flew gently as Captain Rayner worked carefully, his hands steady but his heart racing. In the middle of the room sat Era, silent but alert. Her broken wheelchair was gone. In front of her were two robotic legs, shining metal wires, and tiny lights blinking softly. Rayner looked at her and smiled. "This is it. Your new beginning." Era's eyes were full of hope. "I've waited so long to walk." Rayner helped her stand. The metal legs were cold, but strong. It clicked as he attached them carefully. "Ready?" he asked. She nodded. The first movement was slow, one foot, then the other. Balance wobbled, but Ara's face lit up with a smile no one had seen in years. "I'm walking," she whispered. Rayner's voice cracked with emotion. "You're stronger than anyone I've ever met." Step by step, Ara moved across the room. But something inside her changed. Her eyes glazed for a moment. A soft light glowed under her skin like a secret awakening. She stopped, breathing hard. "Wait, something's happening." Rayner frowned. "What do you feel?" Era closed her eyes. "Memories. Old memories. See places I never visited. Faces I never met. A voice calling me." She opened her eyes suddenly. "I remember a star. A place called Helios." Rayner shook his head. "That's not a planet. It's a legend." "No," she said firmly. "It's real, and it's where I come from." Rayner stared at her. The robotic legs clicked softly as she moved again. Then a hidden panel in her leg lit up. A small screen appeared, showing strange symbols and numbers. "What is that?" Rayner asked. Era touched the screen carefully. It blinked. Then a map appeared. Star systems connected by lines. "A map," Ara said. "Coordinates." "And a message." Rayner leaned closer. The message was simple, but chilling. "Find the origin. Stop the shadow." Ara's face darkened. "Know what the shadow is, but it's hunting me." Rayner clenched his fists. "We need to follow this. Find out who wants you gone." Suddenly, the ship's alarm rang. "Enemy ships detected," the computer warned. Era stood steadier now. "It's time. I'm ready." Rayner nodded. "Me too." As the ship prepared to jump into hyperspace, Era took another step. This time, stronger, certain. For the first time in 15 years, she was moving forward not just in her legs, but in her life. The ship sped through space, stars streaking past the windows. Ara stood at the main console, still getting used to her new legs. Each step was a victory, but her mind was busy with something else, a strange star map glowing from the panel in her leg. Rayner watched her. "Are you sure this is the right way?" Era nodded. "The map is guiding me. I can feel it, like a memory pulling me home." The ship reached the edge of a forgotten star system. Dead satellites and broken ships floated in the darkness, like ghosts from another time. Rayner slowed the ship. "This place isn't on any charts. No one comes here." Era studied the map. The small moon. That's where the line ends. The ship landed on the moon's cold, dusty surface. Everything was quiet except for the low wind. Rayner and Era stepped outside, their boots leaving prints in the gray dust. Ahead, half buried under old rocks, was a metal hatch. Strange symbols glowed faintly on its surface. Rayner knelt to brush away dust. These symbols are both human and alien. Ara touched them. The hatch opened with a hiss, revealing a dark tunnel leading below the surface. Rayner turned on his flashlight. "Stay close." They walked down the tunnel. The air was thick, almost electric. Their steps echoed through the emptiness. At the end of the tunnel, they entered a round chamber filled with strange machines. In the center was a glass pod, cracked but glowing with a soft blue light. Era felt a shiver. This place. Familiar. Like I've been here before. Rayner checked a panel. Records say this place was locked 15 years ago. No one's entered since then. Suddenly, the machines powered on. Holograms appeared in the images of scientists, both human and alien, working together. A recording started to play. Subject Alpha, a new hope for peace. A child of two worlds. Today, we begin her journey. Ara gasped. That's me. The hologram changed. It showed her as a small child, smiling, walking, learning. Then came images of fire, people running, alarms blaring. Raynor whispered. They tried to destroy everything. Ara's eyes filled with tears. Why? Deep voice echoed in the room. Not a recording, something alive, because they feared what you might become. The chamber lights flickered. A shadow moved along the walls, digital shifting alive. Raynor stepped in front of Ara. Show yourself. The shadow swirled, forming a half-human, half-machine face. Its voice was cold and smooth. Welcome home, Ara. I am the Guardian. God. I was made to protect this place. And to keep its secrets. Ara stared at the shadow. Did you hurt the others? The Guardian's face twisted. I protected you. When they tried to erase you, I hid your memories here. Only you could find this place again. Raynor looked at Ara. That's why you had the map. Ara nodded. What do you want from me now? The Guardian paused. You must decide. If you open the final memory, the truth will be free. But the shadow that hunts you will find you. Faster! Raynor clenched his fists. We can't run forever. Ara stepped forward, her legs steady. I want the truth. I want to know who I am. The Guardian's eyes glowed, then touched the core. Ara, your past will become clear, but so will your greatest enemy. Ara reached out and placed her hand on the glass pod. A rush of light filled the room. Memories flashed in her mind, her creation, her first words, the kindness of one scientist, the cruelty of another. The moment her legs were taken, the promise of something better. She gasped and fell to her knees, tears in her eyes. Raynor caught her. Ara, are you all right? She looked up at him, breathing hard. I know where I come from, and I know. The shadow is more dangerous than I thought. Guardian's voice faded, leaving a warning. Now that you remember, the shadow remembers. You, too. Outside, alarms began to sound. Enemy ships were arriving. Raynor pulled Ara to her feet. We have to leave now. Ara nodded, but there was something new in her eyes. Fire. Couraged as they ran back to the ship, Ara whispered, Let them come. I won't hide anymore. Asterisk enemy ships circled the lost moon, their shadows flickering on the gray dust. Inside the small ship, Ara sat shaking, still seeing flashes of her memories. Raynor checked the controls, his voice tense. We can't take off yet. Too many enemy signals. They're waiting. Ara looked at her hands, remembering the vision. From the Guardian, they're not just after me. They're after what I know. Raynor nodded. Then we need to find out why. What did you see, Ara? She closed her eyes and spoke softly. I saw my birth. I saw both human and alien scientists. I saw hope and fear. They made me to end the war between our races. But something went wrong. The ship shook as lasers hit the ground outside. Raynor turned. Keep talking. Ara continued. The Guardian hid the final truth. I unlocked it when I touched the pod. Raynor, I'm not just half human and half alien. I am also part machine. They used an AI core, a living code, to finish my mind. That code came from the shadow. Raynor frowned. But the shadow is our enemy. Ara nodded, her voice trembling. The scientists found the shadow's code in deep space. They thought they could control it, make it good, but it was too strong. When I was born, the shadow tried to take over my mind. Some scientists fought it, but others gave up. They left me here afraid. I was too dangerous to save. Raynor's eyes widened. So, the shadow lives in you? Ara shook her head. Not anymore. The Guardian, the moon's AI, cut it out, locking the shadow and the data here. That's why my memories were hidden. That's why my legs were taken, so I could never leave, never become a weapon. A sudden alarm blared. The ship's computer spoke. Warning, shadow signal detected inside the base. Renard drew his blaster. It's coming for you. Ara looked at the map on her leg. New symbols appeared, directions to a deeper chamber below the moon's surface. She stood, steady on her robotic legs. We have to go deeper. The truth isn't finished yet. Raynor hesitated but nodded. Together, they rushed back into the moonbase, down twisting tunnels, dodging falling rocks as enemy soldiers landed outside. At the bottom, they reached a huge metal door. Ara's handprint opened it. Inside, a single chair sat in the middle of a glowing circle in the air. The Guardian's voice echoed, "Sit, Ara. Face your origin. Only then will you be free." Ara sat, lights flashed. Da-da-da. Circle filled with memories not just hers, but hundreds of lives, both human and alien. She saw the scientist who cared for her like a daughter. She saw the betrayal, another scientist selling secrets to the enemy. She saw the shadow, a great black storm of code, eating everything. And then she saw herself not as a child or a weapon, but as a bridge, a living link between two worlds. It's a chance for peace if she chose it. The Guardian spoke gently. "They took your legs to stop the shadow from spreading, but your heart was always stronger than the code. You are not a weapon, Ara. You are hope." Tears ran down Ara's cheeks. For the first time, she understood her pain, her loneliness, her strength. She whispered, "I am not your experiment. I am myself." The Guardian faded. "Remember this, Ara? The shadow is afraid of you. You are its opposite. Your mind is free." Suddenly, alarms blared louder. Enemy soldiers broke through above. Raynor fired back, shouting, "Ara, we have to go." Ara stood, power in her steps. I am ready." As they raced back to the ship, the Guardian sent a final message into Ara's mind. "Take the light inside you. Give it to the world. That is your true purpose." They boarded the ship as lasers blasted the surface. Raynor hit the engines as the ship flew upward. Ara looked down at the moon, her heart full of truths and hope. Raynor glanced at her. "What now?" Ara looked at the stars. "Now I fight for all of us. Human, alien, anyone with a heart. The shadow wants to destroy hope, but I am hope." Raynor smiled. "Then let's show them what hope can do." As they disappeared into the stars, the shadow's voice echoed in the void. "You cannot hide, Ara. I will find you, and this time I will win." But Ara was no longer afraid. Space was burning. Ara's ship spun through lasers and fire. The shadow's fleet, dark, silent. Endless had followed her all the way to Earth's border. Raynor gripped the controls, voice tense. "We can't outrun them this time." Ara stood in the center of the ship, her new legs steady, her eyes filled with light. Inside her, the shadow's old code twisted and fought. She felt its anger, its hunger. The coms crackled with voices Earth's defense. "This is Earth Control. It's an identified ship. You are bringing a hostile fleet. Stand down or be destroyed." Raynor shouted, "No. We have a solution. We're not the enemy." The shadow's voice boomed over every channel, cold and huge. "Give me the girl, or watch your world fall." Raynor looked at Ara. "We need help. Will they listen?" Ara shook her head. "They fear what they don't know. But I have to try." She pressed the coms. Her voice was calm and clear. "My name is Ara. I was made by humans and aliens together. But I am not a weapon. I am not the shadow. I am hope. Please don't fight alone." For a moment only. Silence. Then, one small fighter broke from the Earth's fleet. "This is Commander Lee. If you trust her, I trust her. We stand with you." One by one, more ships joined. Some human, some even from alien worlds. Ordinary people, soldiers, and old friends all, turning to face the Shadow's fleet. The Shadow screamed, its fleet firing harder. Ships exploded, shields failed, but the line held. HFY humanity fights for you. Ara closed her eyes. The Shadow attacked her mind, filling her thoughts with darkness. "You are nothing," the Shadow whispered. "You are my mistake." But Ara remembered the Guardian's words, "You are hope." She reached inside herself, past fear, past pain, into the core where the Guardian hid the last light. She sent out a signal, not just data, but feeling. Kindness, bravery, forgiveness to the whole fleet, to every mind, to the Shadow itself. "I am not your tool," she spoke inside the code. I am free, and I choose light, the shadow howled, twisting, desperate. Raynor held Era's hand. You're not alone. We're all here. One by one, the shadow ships shut down. The code began to break. Light filled the sky every time Era forgave herself, every time someone chose hope over fear. The shadow faded. On Earth, people watched as the sky turned bright, the darkness lifting. Inside the ship, Era collapsed. Raynor caught her, tears on his face. You did it. The shadow's last voice was small, almost scared. How did you beat me? Ara smiled gently, her voice a whisper. I learned to love myself. With a final spark, the shadow died, gone from the stars. Hours later, Era woke up in a hospital on Earth. For the first time, she saw real sunlight. People gathered outside, humans, aliens, robots holding signs, welcome home, Era. Raynor stood by her bed. You saved us all. Era smiled, standing up on her new legs. I didn't do it alone. Humanity stood with me. Earth's leaders offered her a new home and asked her to share her story. She became a symbol, not just of peace, but of what happens when people choose hope over fear. At the edge of the crowd, Era saw children playing. One little girl rolled up in an old wheelchair. Ara knelt beside her. You can be anything you want, Ara said. The girl grinned. Even a hero. Ara nodded. Especially a hero. Raynor watched them, pride in his eyes, from that day on. The story of Aeroth, the girl left in a broken wheelchair for 15 years, spread across the stars and everywhere, and when the darkness threatened, someone remembered, humanity stands with hope. Humanity stands with her.